Time is not slipping away. It is being stolen while you are distracted. You look up, and the day is gone. The light outside has shifted. Your chest tightens. You swear you only checked one thing, one message, one thought. Then hours vanished, like smoke through broken windows. This is time blindness. Silent, predatory, humiliating. And if you do not learn to outsmart it, it will keep feeding on your potential. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You were built different. But different minds require different weapons. There was a classroom clock once. White wall, black numbers, secondhand ticking like a judge counting down your future. You stared at your paper, mind racing somewhere else entirely, ideas flooding in unrelated directions. When the bell rang, your page was nearly empty. You walked out feeling late. Late to think. Late to act. Late to become. That wound stayed. But what if the problem was never your effort? What if the problem was that nobody taught you the tricks? Trick number 1. Make time visible or lose it. Your brain does not feel time passing unless it sees movement. Minutes are abstract. Abstract things dissolve. So you bring time into the physical world. Large digital timers, analog clocks in your line of sight, countdown apps that show seconds falling away like sand. There was a night when you tested this. You set a 20-minute countdown before starting a task you had avoided for weeks. The ticking was subtle but alive. You worked differently, faster, sharper. When the timer ended, you were not drained. You were alert, because you were racing something real. Time blindness weakens when time has shape, but that is only the beginning. Trick number 2. Shrink the battlefield. An entire day overwhelms you. 8 hours feels like fog. Your nervous system panics, so you cut the day into duels. 15 minutes, one task, no switching, no multitasking. When the timer rings, you reset or rest. There was a broken room once, clothes scattered, desk cluttered, projects half-built like abandoned bridges. You stood frozen at the doorway, overwhelmed. Then you told yourself you would clean one corner only for 10 minutes. 10 minutes turned into movement. Movement turned into momentum. The room began to change. Small battles create visible victory. Victory builds self-trust. Self-trust restores power. Trick number 3. Attach consequence before panic does. Your brain wakes up when stakes are real. That is why last-minute deadlines turn you into a machine. Pressure sharpens you, but waiting for panic is destructive. So you create controlled stakes, public commitments, scheduled check-ins, financial accountability. You manufacture urgency. There was a time you promised someone you would deliver something by morning. Suddenly your focus intensified. You did not scroll. You did not drift. You executed. The promise created gravity. Gravity anchors time. Without gravity, you float. Underestimation fueled you for years. Teachers saying you had potential, but lacked discipline. Employers questioning your reliability. Friends joking about your lateness. Each comment was a knife carving doubt into your identity. That doubt fed time blindness, because when you believe you are unreliable, you hesitate to start. Hesitation stretches minutes into avoidance. Avoidance collapses hours into regret. Trick number 4. Design friction against distraction. Your attention is powerful but fragile, like a torch in wind. If your phone sits beside you, it will win. If tabs remain open, they will whisper. So you move distractions out of reach. Phone in another room. Website blockers active. Clear desk. Single tab. Friction buys seconds. Seconds compound. Compounded seconds become reclaimed hours. You must understand something fierce and comforting at the same time. You are not weak for struggling with time. You are intensity-driven. Your brain prioritizes stimulation and meaning over sequence. That is why hyperfocus feels supernatural. That is why boredom feels painful. That is why racing thoughts keep you awake at night, replaying conversations and imagining futures. There was a silent night at 2:41 a.m. Screen glow against your face. You told yourself you would sleep early. Instead, you were researching something electric, something fascinating. Hours gone. Morning arrived like judgment. Guilt settled in your chest. But in those hours, you were not lazy. You were alive. The problem was not passion. The problem was direction. Trick number 5. Choose fewer missions. When everything feels important, nothing gets finished. Your mind opens loops endlessly. Ideas spark faster than you can execute. So you limit yourself. 3 core objectives per week. That is it. Everything else is secondary. Constraint creates clarity. Clarity compresses time. Trick number 6. Ritualize ignition. Your brain resists starting, but thrives once burning. So you build a starting ritual. Same music, same location, same breath pattern. Over time, your nervous system associates that ritual with focus. It becomes a switch. There was a moment when you lit a candle before working, just as an experiment. The flame flickered. You began writing. Days later, lighting that candle triggered focus instantly. Ritual became command. Trick number 7. Master the sacred reset. You will fall off rhythm. Everyone does. But the difference between collapse and comeback is speed of recovery. No week-long spiral. No identity attack. One small action. Immediately. Reset before shame builds a throne. There was a night you missed something important. You felt the old narrative rising. This is why you fail. Instead of surrendering, you sent one email. Small, imperfect, but decisive. That act broke the spiral. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are built different. Time blindness is not unbeatable. It is predictable. And predictable enemies can be outsmarted. This is only the first phase of your war. The second phase begins when you stop fighting time like it is a monster in the dark. It is not a monster. It is terrain, and terrain can be mapped. For years you walked through your days blindfolded, reacting instead of directing. You woke up with vague intentions, and ended the night with vague regret. In between you drifted. Notifications pulled you sideways, emotions pulled you backward. Curiosity pulled you into tunnels that had no exit. Then you blamed your character. But the truth is harsher and kinder at the same time. You were operating without a map. There was a memory from adolescence. A weekend afternoon. You planned to study. Books open. Notes ready. Then one small distraction appeared. A random thought. You searched it. That search led to another. Soon you were deep inside unrelated information. Hours gone. When you looked up, the sun was setting. The work untouched. It felt like sabotage. It was not sabotage. It was unguarded curiosity. Your curiosity is a gift. It is also a liability when uncontained. So the next level trick is this. Schedule exploration. Do not try to kill your curiosity. That will only create rebellion. Instead, assign it time. 30 minutes for random research. 20 minutes for idea capture. When curiosity has a container, it stops hijacking your entire day. Containment is power. Another shift must happen inside you. You must separate identity from performance. There was a season when every missed deadline felt like proof you were defective. You would sit in a dim room replaying mistakes, crown cracked, confidence leaking out. You thought consistency was something you simply did not possess. But consistency is not a personality trait. It is a system outcome. When your system is built for linear thinkers, you will look inconsistent. When your system is built for surges and sprints, you will look unstoppable. This is psychological warfare. You are rebuilding self-trust. Another trick, externalize your mind. Racing thoughts feel overwhelming because they compete for attention inside your skull. So you pull them out, whiteboard, notebook, digital list, capture everything. When ideas live outside you, they stop screaming. There was a night when your mind would not quiet down, thoughts stacked on thoughts, anxiety rising. Instead of fighting it, you wrote every idea down, page after page. Within minutes, your chest loosened. The storm moved from inside to outside. Clarity restores time perception. When your mind is less cluttered, minutes feel longer. You become deliberate instead of reactive. You also need environmental anchors. Time blindness worsens in neutral spaces, blank rooms, undefined hours. So create visual cues. A dedicated desk only for work, specific lighting, a certain playlist. Your brain begins associating that environment with focus. There was a small corner in your home that slowly became sacred. Desk cleared, headphones ready. One plant beside the monitor. Every time you sat there, your body shifted, less drift, more intent. The space trained you. Design shapes behavior, and behavior shapes destiny. But there is another layer. Emotional intensity distorts your perception of progress. When you feel behind, it feels catastrophic. When you feel motivated, It feels infinite. Neither state is fully accurate, so you track data. Not obsessively, strategically. Track hours, focused, tasks completed, days you showed up. Over weeks, patterns emerge. You see that you are not as inconsistent as you feared. You see that surges are predictable. You begin to anticipate them. Anticipation is leverage. There was a month when you tracked your work sessions quietly. You noticed your peak focus always hit mid-morning. Instead of wasting that window on shallow tasks, you moved your hardest work there. Output doubled. Confidence followed. You did not change your brain. You changed alignment. This is how you outsmart time blindness. You stop demanding that your brain behave like a metronome. You start orchestrating it like a storm. And storms require recovery. Another overlooked trick: schedule emptiness. If you do not plan rest, burnout will ambush you. Hyperfocus drains reserves. Emotional processing drains reserves. If you ignore recovery, your system rebels. Time distortion intensifies. Everything feels harder. There was a stretch when you pushed relentlessly for weeks. Productivity soared. Then suddenly, nothing. Total paralysis. You thought you had regressed. In reality, you were depleted. Rest is not regression. It is recalibration. The world may never fully understand your rhythm, but you are beginning to. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are built different. Different means you must be intentional. The final phase is not about tricks. It is about identity. And that is where you become dangerous. Dangerous does not mean reckless. It means aware. It means you know your weaknesses so well that they no longer control you. It means you understand your patterns before they unfold. It means you see the storm forming on the horizon, and you prepare instead of pretending the sky is clear. This is the final evolution. For years, time felt like an executioner, a silent judge standing behind you while you scrolled, drifted, hesitated. Every ticking second felt like evidence against you. You internalized the verdict: undisciplined, unreliable, late. But now you see the truth. Time was never judging you. You were judging yourself, without strategy. There was a morning not long ago when you woke up before the alarm. No panic, no rush, just quiet. You sat at the edge of your bed and reviewed your 3 core missions for the week. Not a chaotic list, not 20 tasks. 3, clear, defined, aligned with what actually mattered. You stood up with intention. That is power. You are no longer reacting to time. You are allocating it. The final layer is ownership. No more blaming your wiring. No more romanticizing chaos. No more hiding behind intensity without structure. You accept that your brain processes time differently. You accept that this difference comes with both gifts and responsibility. Gifts without discipline become waste. Discipline without self-knowledge becomes burnout. You now carry both. There was a flashback that used to haunt you, a missed opportunity, an email unsent, a project abandoned halfway. You would replay it late at night, feeling the old sting of being too slow, too distracted, too scattered. That memory once felt like proof of incapacity. Now it feels like fuel, because you understand what went wrong. No visible timer, no defined sprint, no externalized plan, no protected environment, no reset protocol. You were walking into battle, unarmed. You do not do that anymore. When you sit down to work now, the space is prepared. Phone away, timer visible, single objective selected, ritual performed. The moment you begin, there is friction against distraction and gravity toward completion. You engineered the battlefield, and that changes everything. Another memory surfaces, a childhood afternoon building something imaginary, for hours without noticing time. You were fully immersed, alive, focused. That state was never lost. It was buried under shame and misalignment. Now you access it deliberately. You choose meaningful work. You attach stakes. You break it into sprints. You allow recovery. You reset quickly after slips. The cycle becomes controlled instead of chaotic. This is sovereignty. Time blindness once felt like a curse. Now it is a predictable pattern you can outmaneuver. You know that boredom is a warning sign. You know that overwhelm means you have too many open loops. You know that racing thoughts mean ideas need to be externalized. You know that procrastination signals either lack of clarity or lack of stakes. Awareness precedes control. Control precedes confidence. Confidence precedes dominance. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You were built different. Different means your growth will not look average. It will look explosive. There will still be days when you drift. Storms do not disappear entirely. But now you carry tools. You shorten the distance between mistake and reset. You prevent one lost hour from becoming one lost week. You refuse to let shame build a throne inside your mind. Underestimation becomes silent fuel. Every comment about your inconsistency becomes another brick in the foundation you are building privately. You do not argue. You execute. You let results speak. There was a recent evening walk. Streetlights reflecting off pavement. Cool air steady against your face. You thought about the version of you who felt permanently late. The one who believed time was an enemy that could not be defeated. You felt something unexpected. Respect. Because that version survived confusion long enough to reach this point. Survived doubt. Survived comparison. Survived broken rooms and cracked crowns and nights of spiraling thoughts. And now you stand different. Time is no longer a thief in the shadows. It is a resource you allocate with intention. You see the minutes. You feel the surges. You design the sprints. You honor the resets. You are not chasing the clock. You are commanding it. Outsmart time blindness. Own your storm.